Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card, which is called a bookbinding card. They're very popular at the moment, very easy to make. What happens is when you open your card, this bit doesn't open because that bit has been adhered together down there. I used to make these years ago when I did wedding stationery for people, only I would put the pages inside as well. If I get time at the end of the video, I'll show you a couple of samples that I have of that to show you how the pages actually go in, just in case you ever decided that you wanted to make your own wedding stationery, or if you wanted to do wedding stationeries as a service to people. So I'm going to change the design on my card for the video and my colour scheme. I'll be giving you the inches, the measurements if you're an A4 cardstock user. I'll put all the measurements in the box below the video, and I will include the North American sizes, inches, and also metric sizes. So the pieces that you're going to need: card base is Whisper White, and that measures 4 1/8 inches by 11.5 inches, which means for A4 cardstock users you can get 2 cards out of 1 sheet of cardstock. Then you need 2 pieces of Gorgeous Grape, and these measure 4 inches by 3 7/8 inches. You need another piece of Gorgeous Grape, which is 1 1/4 inches by 3 7/8 inches. You need a piece of Gorgeous Grape which measures 3 1/4 inches by 2 1/8 inches. You need scraps of Gorgeous Grape and a piece of this design from True Love Designer Series paper. I've coloured one of these and I've fussy cut it. If you're not into fussy cutting, you can use the stamp set, which is Forever and Always, and those are the 2 flowers that they have, and there's leaves as well, and they do have dies to die cut them. Put that in the right way. So that's called Always. There's the 2 flowers and they're the 2 leaves. Okay, so that's what the dies cut out like. So if you're not into fussy cutting, which I totally understand, that's the alternative for this card. And obviously if you're doing the stamping, you need more cardstock than that one. You will also need Designer Series paper. As I say, this is from True Love, and these 2 pieces measure 3 7/8 inches by 3 3/4 inches. This piece measures 1 1/8 inches by 3 3/4 inches. You need a piece of Whisper White to die cut that shape, which is from the Stitch So Sweetly dies, and is number 4, starting from the smallest. Smaller the die, smaller the number, so you use number 4. If you don't have that set of dies, then you need a piece of Whisper White cardstock, which measures 3 1/8 inches by 2 inches. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our trimmer and score this sheet. I'll get my cutting blade out of the way. And first of all, you need to score at 4 1/4 inches, and then 5 3/4 inches. Now if I remember to cut the bottom off of this, that's going to fold in half beautifully. No, I didn't remember to do it. Look, I assume 11.5, 5 3/4. Yes, that's still 11 3/4. So that's got to be that bit that needs to come off. I thought I'd pay particular attention to that, make sure I don't make the same mistake for the video, and I did forget. In fact, I know what I've done. the other half of this, I put it in my scrap box, and that is the half I did cut off. Oh well, it wouldn't be right, would it, if I got through a video without making a mistake? But we don't mind, do we? Okay, so you fold it, and now you do have half, but it looks like I need a new blade in there. The end there is looking a little bit furry. So I'm going to give this a nice burnish, and then where you've got that other fold, the other score line there, you need to fold back on that and then burnish that. Now we are going to be gluing that to that, but not just yet. I did my layers first so that you don't have to wait and watch me do that. So that must be the right way. One of these is 3 3/4 and one is 3 7/8, which is why I've written on there 3 7/8. Yeah, that's right, 3 7/8. So let's just get this glued on here. I am so pleased that our orders here in the UK have started arriving now. We had problems with deliveries from 31st of December when we actually left the European Union. People who were sending parcels over here had to have new paperwork, and Stampin' Up had gone to a lot of trouble to make sure that they were ready for Brexit. Unfortunately, not everybody else was. So when all deliveries got to customs, there were several that didn't have the correct paperwork, and therefore it was holding up the orders. That's going to irritate me. I'll trim that. I don't know if you can see it, but it's really, really furry there, and I'm going to trim that afterwards. It can wait until now. Right, now this piece is going to go on there. But yes, great excitement yesterday and the day before when UPS started delivering all our parcels for us. Obviously we knew that there would be some kind of a hiccup, but it still came as a bit of a shock. Right, now to put this one on, I suggest you just fold that bit back so you know how to where exactly to line this one up. You don't want to find yourself lining it up so it goes under that and whoops. That's it, you come back. Now another one that I wrote on here, 3 7/8, so that I knew which way. Okay. This is my second attempt at this video. I had to stop and start again because I had a migraine. I couldn't see what I was doing. Also, sometimes when I get a migraine, my speech goes very slurred, almost as if I've been drinking. Right, now for here, this is the piece I'm going to be using. Okay, so I'm going to be putting that on, and I'm going to have a happy birthday. I'm also going to put a piece of ribbon around there, but I'm going to show you what I do here. Obviously, if you're stamping the designs, the colouring principles are still just the same, and I'm going to use my blends. If you're stamping the designs from that stamp set, stamp it using Memento ink if you're going to be using stamping blends to do the colouring. Now the two that I use, oh look, there's two right down here, these two here. Now I'm not going to colour all of them, and I'm certainly not going to fussy cut them in front of you, because that would just take forever and a day. Well, no, that's an exaggeration actually. It just seems like forever and a day when I'm doing a video. I love fussy cutting, so I don't really notice the time it takes. And when I do my blends and I got outlines, I do try and do the outsides first. I mean the outside edges, so that I know where I have to stop. There's only 2 leaves on this, so let's move that up there. You probably notice I'm back onto my lockdown nails, my real true false nails. Only this time what I've done is I've adhered them with the, like, glue dots is the only way I can describe them. You can adhere them with these glue dot things they provide, which are nail shaped, not glue dots like ours. But they don't stay on very long. And while I'm making a video, I do have my heart in my mouth just in case I do something and I ping one off. Anyway, that was light granny apple green. I'm now using dark granny apple green, and I just go on some of the lines that the artist has drawn in, because that's where the artist sees the shadows. As you can see, I'm not overly fussy about it. But once I've done that, then I go back again with my light granny apple green, and I'm just going circles around the darker bits. And then once I've done that, I go up to the edge again. And that just about gives a nice little bit of shadow in there. Oh, should have done that bit first, never mind. Oh, what's that? Don't know, but it's gone. There we go. So I'll only do part of one of the flowers, and I'm going to use, what am I using? Highland Heather. So I'm going to start with the light. And again, I start off by doing the edges. I could spend the day painting this whole sheet. I think it is just so relaxing. Mind you, if I'd printed the whole sheet, I wouldn't fussy cut it. I would cut it into slices so that I could use as layers. I will go back and finish this off and use it for another project. Okay, so that's all the edges done. So I can go over all the rest of it nice and quickly. I'll still go careful as I get towards the edges. And I'm not putting any pressure on this brush at all. Just letting it glide. Okay, so now I'm going to use the dark, and I'm going to do exactly the same, except with this one the artist has given lots of lines just coming up from the centres, and there are some lines on each petal, which I have to say I do find very helpful, because sometimes I start doing, say for example, all the middle of the petals, and then when I go around to the other side of the flower, I start, if I was doing, say, the lower edges, and then when I go around the other side I start doing the upper edges. There we go, so that's that. I do think actually I could leave it like that, but it does look better. Let's do the edges there. Now circular movement, colouring them in again. I've gone over the edge there, but that's okay because that's another flower. Okay, so that's what I do to colour in my flowers. But if you stamp your flowers, instead of doing these ones, the principle is the same, you still do them the same way. Okay, you can just get your cutting machine now and die cut them. So I've die cut these, and this is what it has finished up looking like. I've left a little white edge around these. Okay, so that's that one. Let's move that out of the way. What did I decide about the... Oh, I know what I'm doing for the thank you. I'm using... Not thank you, happy birthday. That's because the last card I did was a thank you. This is from Oval Occasions, and it's got the double oval punch, which I think is absolutely great. So, partly reason using this was because I wanted to show you, and the reason I put my shapes on here is because it's silver there and the light catches and it shines, and for me that's like a flashing light, and that causes migraines. Now in here you can have your sentiment and you can have a layer for it, but you don't really want to punch both of those each time, for example when you're doing your sentiment. So what I do is I cut a piece of Whisper White, and this is about 1.25 inches. Yep, it's 1.25 inches, and I'm going to put it in here, put it into place. Now I actually want to hold this piece here to get it into the punch, so I'm going to move this along, and I am going to do my stamping up this piece here. So if I just get myself a stamp set to lean on. What did I didn't decide what colour, did I? Well, I'm not going to do it in black anyway. I could do, but I've got gorgeous grape here. Yes, so that's what I'm going to be using. I really ought to get myself some kind of a routine or system for re-inking my stamp sets. The thing is, at the end of the day, when I start tidying up, I just want to get everything put away. I don't want to stop and have to re-ink my stamp sets, and I don't want to leave them out until the next day. There we go, so that's come up really nicely. I don't need this again. Oh, let's close this. There we go. So now that, because I've only got the 1.25 inches there, I can slide that in, and I'm not wasting any paper that's coming up here. Okay, so I've done a little bit there, but I can do another sentiment there, so that's not going to be wasted. Now I want a piece for here, and I haven't measured this because as long as I don't come down here, it doesn't matter how tall it is. I wonder if that will fit. I think that's fitting. Shall I give it a go? Wow, look at that. I do like being economical with my cardstock. So that is a great punch. Punches are so much easier to use rather than dies. You just pick it up, use it, put it back down again. That's not to say I don't like dies. I think they're great. But I still appreciate the punches. And I used to enjoy punch art as well. We used to punch lots of different shapes and make things for the Christmases. And we used to have an owl punch, which was, it came in several pieces. And that was absolutely fantastic. It was sad the day that went. There we go. Okay, so for the front of my card, I'm going to use dimensionals, I think. Or should I get this bit done first? I think I'll decorate the front here. What I'm going to do is I'm using the Gorgeous Grape sheer ribbon. It's going to go through the middle, and I want to be tying it in a bow. I don't know how much that is. Let me measure it. It's probably far too much. That's about 17 inches. But I did see another good tip the other day about doing this. And what this girl did, I don't know who it was. Now I should have 2 of these paper clips. And let's open my card up like that. Make sure it's straight. The last thing you want is for that to be crooked underneath. Make sure they're about the same. And she put her ribbon like that and then put it in top like that, and then she did one this side as well. Just make sure that that's coming straight. And she said it's so much easier to tie your bow when you know that these parts of your ribbons aren't going to be moving. And I tried it, and I have to agree with her, it worked beautifully. So what I do to tie my bows, I keep my ribbons flat, and without letting that twist, it just bends over and comes through straight. The secret is to keep your ribbon straight when you're tying bows. That one I'm keeping straight, just letting it bend so it goes in a different direction. Let's move that down a bit. And then hold that. Oh my goodness, I didn't have these nails on last time I did this. I hope this is going to work. And then keep, that's not going to work. Hold on, let's see if I can lay my finger down. Oh, that might be better. Okay, so I'm just folding this piece and I'm keeping them straight. So that is straight, straight and straight. This one I'm going to wrap around and I'm going to keep it straight. There are no bends, no crossovers, just curling round. Now as I push that through, I'm pushing it through as a loop but still keeping them straight. And I'll just let that go. Right, okay. Now, I have let this go and I shouldn't have done, but never mind. I'm going to hold on to that bit of the ribbon at the back, because if I pull on the back bit, that's going to help tighten the ribbon. And on this one, if I hold the top bit and pull on that, that will tighten the ribbon. Let me see if I can get my finger back down there. Oh, no. I combined this with another tip that I saw. I was going to say that I felt really clumsy doing that, and it wasn't like that when I did my dog card. So what I did for this one, if I can see my little, right down the other end there. Now these are what I call reverse tweezers, okay? So what I do, let's go back to where I've just folded them over like that. Keep that nice and tight, and then put that in there to hold the ribbon, okay? It looks a little bit tight there, but I'll sort that one out. So again, I'm going to fold this, keep it all straight. I'm going to bring this one round, keep it straight. Okay, so it's coming round here, nice and straight, coming to the back, and it is, I'm folding that like that to go through the loop there. Okay, so I just stopped to show you that bit so that you knew exactly what I was doing. Not very easy when you've got all these fingers in the way. Okay, so now there it comes through. I'm keeping it straight. I'm taking the bottom one of this loop and the top one of this loop, and if I pull them, I'm pulling the ribbon tight. I left that one a bit short really, didn't I? Let's try that again. This top bit you want on this one. Ah, that's done it, except my short ribbon has gone. Oh no, it hasn't. I thought my short ribbon had gone right the way through, but there we go. So I'm going to let that one go now, put my finger on the knot, and then if I pull that through, the underneath bit on this bow, the top bit on this bow, and pull them both, and it will tighten your bow. And see that tightening? And then you can play with it as much as you like. This one seems to have gone a little bit squiggly, but that's okay. As long as both sides are squiggly, I don't mind. There we go, that's alright, isn't it? So I can take that off. And although I made a bit of a mess of that, I blame my fingernails, but the result was okay, wasn't it? So let me just trim the edges here. There we go. That's all right. What do you think? Not fantastic, but it's passable. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to adhere this down to here. So this really holds the ribbon in place nicely. When you, I forgot to say, when you use these clips, experiment with yours first and clip some cardstock together, at least 2 pieces like that. See if it leaves pinch marks on your cardstock, because these are different different like tightnesses. If they're too tight, they will. I'm not sure if tightnesses is the correct word, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to put some Tombow. You could use tear and tape here if you like, or Seal Plus. If you're like me and you're using Tombow, make sure you go as close to the edges that you can, but not too much that it's going to ooze out when you start closing it. And also make sure you go over your ribbon. Okay, now when you close this and you're using the Tombow like me, as you push it down, watch out to see if you've got any glue coming through. No, I think that's okay. If you've got any glue coming through and don't check it first, by the time you come to open this up, it's not going to open. There we go. Now if you find that your bow is moving and you're not really happy with it like that, I recommend that you put a glue dot underneath it. We know the ribbon's not going to be going anywhere, but that will just stop the bow from moving. Now this I'm going to be putting up on dimensionals, and this, where do I want to put it? Don't think I want that upside down, do I? About this side. I think I prefer it over this side. That looks like more like normal to me. Do I want some of it covering up or don't I? Yes, I do. It looks too separate if I don't. So I'll do these first and then I'll do that one. So I'm going to use my dimensionals. That's my little ones. And there's my big ones. So that is going to be going over that, so I don't want dimensionals on that longer leaf. Okay, so it's that one I don't want. That one's fine. I do tend to be over generous with my dimensionals on things like this. I don't like the idea of them bending when it gets sent through the post. I mean, they're not that expensive, so I wonder if that is going to be far enough. That should be right. Let me just put some more on here, not more. I haven't done any yet. You see the edge of this? It isn't actually a scalloped edge. It's more a, what I'd say, fancy edge. It's very pretty. Makes a nice change as well from scallops. Right, if I do this one first, I can get this in place. Whoops. I think I prefer that tilted. Okay, so that's going to be going there. And then I'm going to put this on. And I think the long leaf will probably just need a little bit of Tombow on it. Oh, I hope the lockdown ends soon. I'm really struggling with these fingernails. I need to see Sharon. There we go. There we go. I think that's nice. I like that. Let's get rid of these bits. And inside, I'm going to adhere this. I didn't think about decorating in here, did I? That wasn't clever. Right, let's pop this in first. I wonder if I've got room to put one of the smaller flowers from the stamp set in here. Just make sure this is centered first. In fact, on the dog one I used the hearts from the front, didn't I? What do you think? Lovely, isn't it? Really pleased with that. Right, let me have a look. There's nothing on here that's small enough. Even that would be too big. So where's my stamp set? Oh, I wonder. These are my little bits that I've made beforehand for other projects, never used them. No, but nothing suitable. Okay, let's do a bit of stamping. Good job I brought my cut and emboss over with me. What do we want? I'm going to take just one of those little ones. In fact, that might be too big. I think it will be because it's over and under. That's no good. What about that little flower? Oh, that would be better, wouldn't it? I think what I'm going to do, okay, this wasn't in the plan, but I'm going to get a small stamping block, and I am going to do this by painting the actual stamps. So if I got my Stamping Right markers, and then I can stamp straight onto here. So this is another technique for you. Just have a look at the picture on here to see what bits are going to be green. Oh, and I must show you how to, if you get some ink in the wrong place, I'll show you how to correct it. I just need one of my blender pens. I wonder where I've got one of those. Again, I'm going to get up again. Have a look over here first of all. Yep, here we go. These are little blender pens that got some kind of a liquidy thing in there, and you can use them with watercolour pencils, and it helps spread your colours out. And also, if you put your colour on your stamp in the wrong place, you can remove it. For example, just supposing I had done this wrong, just imagine for some peculiar reason I didn't want the stem to be green. If you go like that over it, and then you see how it comes off, you can lift the colour off by just going over that, and then you just keep going until it's coming up clean, and then you can paint it whatever colour you want it to be. I want mine green, so let's move that out of the way. So let's do that again. And then my bud, I want Gorgeous Grape. Actually, I should have done this on the Stamparatus, because if it didn't come out dark enough, I could do it again. So what I'm going to do is, first time, I'm going to stamp it on my scrap paper to see if it does come up dark enough. If it does, then I'm going to go straight for it. If it doesn't, then I'm going to set this up on my Stamparatus. Okay, so what did I just knock on the floor here? Right, okay, so that's such a small stamp, it's probably still moist, but in case it isn't, I'm going to huff on it. There we go. So let's do that again. I do quite often find it's the second time of painting that gets a better result. Rather than washing these colours off, just go over the top again. I wonder if I can demonstrate that. If I do it side by side. You see, I didn't do that very well. Oh, I didn't do it, did I? But see how the green has come up much better than that? Right, now concentrate this time, do the green and the purple. So this should be even better because it's having the third coat of paint on it. So that's the green, purple, go down as far as the leaves. I don't want a gap there. There we go, plenty of colour on there. So I'm going to huff on that and I'm going to go straight on my card. Okay. Turned out well, didn't it? As I say, it does come out better if you do second 2 or 3 times. If you ink it up, stamp it, ink it up, stamp it, and then that was the third time, and that's just absolutely beautiful. Now let me just give you a quick demonstration with this. What you can do with this, because that is, let me just make sure that is clean. Yeah, it gets stained, but that's okay, it doesn't get transferred. The moisture in there will drag this colour down for you. So if you wanted lilac inside, I'll bring this up close so that you can see it. You may not be able to see it from where the camera is. There we go, can you see that? So let me just clean that off, and then I can do the green as well. Oh, I didn't clean that very well, did I? Oh my goodness, look at that. It's because I didn't lay it down enough. But that was lucky that it didn't come through on the purple. Go a bit careful here because it's very narrow. There we go. You can see how the green's there as well. I'm pleased with that. Not often that I actually stamp direct inside my cards. I normally do something and punch it or die cut it or fussy cut and then stick it on, just in case I ruined it. So there we go, that's today's project. Now I'm going to quickly show you the wedding invitations that I've done, and I'll give you another card idea as well. Now these are wedding stationery, wedding invites. This I put vellum over the top, and vellum you can see glue through it, so it doesn't matter if you've got your ribbon going over it. You put your glue down there, stick it down, put your ribbon over it, and that is it. Now on these, where I put paper in, I don't put the ribbon on the inside. I put some glue under that, normally tape, like Terran tape, to hold it in place. And then inside, oh this one's, oh no it is, okay, that's one of the poems. This is a trial one, because it's got 2 of the same sheets in, but it was just to show, I think this was for my daughter actually, this one. So that was one, that's the real one, I can show you. That was the same as that one, wasn't it? It was just changing some bits, and I wasn't wasting anything. I sort of tipped the paper upside down. So that was another one like that. But this one is a proper invitation. Okay, so it had another vellum sheet on top there. Now these weren't Stampin' Up products, the ribbon and this is. So that was the first sheet. Now what I wanted to show you is there are 4 pages in here, Can you see how I have lined the pages up so that when you open the invitation you can automatically see there are 4 pages? I felt that if I lined them all up, people wouldn't necessarily know that there are other sheets in there. So what it is, the second one is the poem, the third one is the menu. It was a sit-down wedding, this one, so people could choose which starter, which main course and which dessert. And then the back page was for them to fill out what they wanted, and that down there is perforated so they could tear that sheet off and send it back. Obviously this is the one that I kept as my sample, if you like. You can see how long ago it was. It's 2012. But the way that I did this, I'm going to show you with this one. I made a mistake with this and I can't remember what it was. That second line I've done today, but that's another idea for you. Use some of our fancy dies down the edges. Yes, I did. This set we have here, which is ornate borders, okay, these dies here, some of these actually fit the edge of your cardstock, okay, like that one there. Okay, so you could have that right at the edge like this one is, so that you could have a colour underneath. Okay, these are also ones that will come to your edge, but that one is particularly nice, really like that. These are standalone ones here. That was just another thought for that. But when I adhered these pages, this is just scrap, okay. What I do is I tend to use I'm still using snail because I haven't used all mine up yet. Okay, now I know that that is my edge there. And what I do is I use a pencil and just do a little line like that. I know that I've got to cover that up with my first sheet. So this is my perforated sheet, and the way you do the perforations is you need to have something like a trimmer that's got a rotary trimmer, rotary blade, because companies who do those make rotary perforated blades to go with them. Mine is actually a Stampin' Up one. So what I do is I watch carefully what I'm doing, make sure that my snail doesn't go right over. And I come to the end. Oh, I've just come to the end of that. Okay, so we won't get flustered about it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to my tear and tape. Okay, so I'm going to put tear and tape. In fact, tear and tape is probably easier thinking about it. Put 1, 2. Obviously this isn't being done properly, it's just to show you how I did it. Let's use that one. And then if I remove these, there's one, that one's gone over the edge. That's 2. And that's 3. Okay, so that's all off. So my back sheet goes on first, making sure that I'm lining it up. Then the third to back sheet goes on, but I line it up here. Am I in shot here? Okay, so I'm lining that up with a tiny gap there so that people can actually see it when they open up, and then let that go. My desk is getting a bit crowded here. And then the second sheet, line that up here, Oh, I moved that. No, I didn't push it down. Oh, that's why I preferred to use snail, because I did snail for the first one, and then when I did snail again it went over here, because this is only attaching itself to that one. Okay, so imagine that as, in fact, I'll tell you what, this is only demonstration purposes, alright? I wouldn't use snail at this stage. Let's line that up again. Okay, so that's that one lined up. Snail is just too hit and miss. So that's the second sheet. Line that up. And then the third one. Obviously the sheets would be a lot bigger than this. They'd be coming over here somewhere with all the information that you need to put on them. I always had so much pleasure making wedding invites, wedding stationery. And then what I do is put the tombow down there and on that top one. Then close that down. So when that gets opened up, people can see that there are 4 sheets there. Okay, so that was a little bit of a bonus for you. Nothing to do with today's cards apart from the fact that it was a bookbinding card. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed today's project. I hope you give it a try. If you have any questions about the wedding invitation bits, please let me know. I'm quite happy to answer your questions on that. Equally, if you've got any questions about this or comments to make, please leave those in the box below the video. As well as the measurements in the A4 sizes, North America sizes and metric, they'll all be in the box below, together with all the products that I've used, with a link to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. If you do place an order with me, first of all, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Please use the HOSTESS code so that I can send you free product when I send you the Happy Mail at the beginning of the following month. If you want to place your order today, the day the video goes live, which is 31st of January 2020, please use the January HOSTESS code, which is that one. Okay. But obviously I've done the February one because that's going to last for a whole month. If you've enjoyed my video and would like to be notified each time I upload a new one, please click on the subscribe button down there in the bottom right hand corner, and then click on the bell, and then you'll be notified each time I do upload a new video. That's it from me today. If you're in the UK especially, but everywhere, please take very good care and stay safe. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care. Cheerio.